Shalom, shalom. I would first like to begin the lesson off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rachaha Kwadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops, that great millstone who told me this truth through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Peace and salutations to this truth, the 100% truth out there on the highways and the byways, the Akim, as well as you few sisters out there listening and learning. To you also I say shalom. It is your brother, Harat Zagabar, back here with another lesson through the spirit, man. Just want to come at y'all with a little bit of an update, you could say, with things going on in the news and whatnot. And as the title reads, when they shall say peace and safety. And I've probably had, Salaki, I've probably done other lessons that's entitled this, but I'm gonna go ahead and bring the scripture out to start off. I got a few clips for y'all. I got a few clips I want to play for y'all from different sources and things of that nature concerning what's been going on with the war and stuff like that. It's one specific clip I cannot find that I really wanted to play, but nonetheless, though, bring out something else that's similar to it. With that being said, I want to start the lesson off with this, and Lord willing, of course, as always, the lesson is edifying to those out there listening and watching. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and start off with the book of Salakia, 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter and the first verse. It says, "But of the times and the seasons, the brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you." It's talking about the day of the Lord, his return. It says, verse 2, "For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night," right? Meaning it's unexpected. "For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day shall overtake you as a thief. Ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. For we are not of the night, nor of darkness." Okay? Now, the clip I'm about to play for y'all is going to make sense, right? And I'm looking at Al Jazeera as I'm doing this lesson as well. my teacher, my professor said this not too long ago. He said, and I mentioned this in my lesson before, all politicians do is say the same things over and over again. They repeat themselves. So as I was watching, you know what? Let me go ahead and play this for y'all. Matter of fact, let me get this first. This is the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, which I'm doing. I'm also commenting and criticizing. Teaching, I'm teaching. Scholarship and research. This is also research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed. Non-profit, I'm not making any money off this video, YouTube. This video is not monetized. I'm not making any type of monetary gain from doing this video. Educational, Lord willing, the lesson be edifying to those out there listening and watching. Or personal use, tips the balance in favor of fair use. Fair use is in full effect. So I should not see any copyright next to my video, YouTube. Let me go and play this first clip for y'all. And I was trying to find a video. I was watching the video the other day. Actually, it might have been a day. Well, I seen a compilation of a whole bunch of politicians in Nero Trump's cabinet repeating the same things that he's about to say. I can't find the video now.
And we've won. Let me say, we've won. You know, you never like to say too early you won. We won. We won the bet. In the first hour, it was over. Well, it's only good if you win. You know, you can only do. And we've won. Let me say, we've won. You know, you never like to say too early you won. We won. We won the bet. In the first hour, it was over. Well, it's only.
Now, the brother said President Donald Trump has now declared the United States has won the war against Iran. Right? Let me get this as well as another precept. Salaki. Job 20. Job 20. Job 20 and 22. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, God shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. It is drawn and cometh out of the body. Yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. See, these people over in America are trying to make it seem as though that America and Israel is just destroying Iran, and as if they're winning this war, right? Let me see if I can find another clip. I'm gonna play this for y'all in a second. But I have, once again, footage that is contrary to America and Israel succeeding in this war. Matter of fact, I'll probably find it on Twitter, on X. Clips of politicians saying America has won the war. All they do is brag. That's all they know how to do.
Bring everything. They're in close touch with the government. They're providing satellite intelligence, which accounts for some of the tremendous.
This is going to be the same thing I'll play for y'all in a second.
Paducah.
Matter of fact, I can just pull up their individual videos. What's that lady name? Catherine Leavitt. Karen Leavitt. Christine Leavitt. I don't remember her name. Carolyn Leavitt. There we go. I knew it started with a K. Carolyn Leavitt.
Of America any longer.
But there are no U.S. leaders or Israeli leaders who are making those same claims. So is he making this up to justify his decision to go to war now?
The president is not making anything up, Nancy. He is looking at this every single day based on intelligence, based on facts, and based on intelligence that he himself and his negotiators have consumed based on their, again, negotiations with the rogue Iranian regime over the past year. And the president and his team tried in a good faith way to reach a diplomatic deal through peaceful means with the Iranian regime. And Iran chose this path to death and destruction. Iran wanted to attack the United States of America, and the president was not going to sit back and allow that to happen.
You see how they twisted the narrative, right? Iran wanted to attack them when the United States and Israel sent over preemptive strikes. You were the aggressor.
He was not going to sit back and allow that to happen, and everyone in this room should be grateful for it. John, attack the United.
And she didn't even say what the clip I really was looking for her to say. Here we go.
Real world. And with respect to MAGA, President Trump is the leader of MAGA. He's the creator of the MAGA movement. And there is nothing more America first than taking out terrorists who have maimed and killed our own servicemen and women who chant death to America. And
So my question is this: where is that same accountability for them people that was in them e-files? Why y'all haven't taken any actions towards them? You know what? Let me go ahead and get this real quick. It's a precept that my pops likes to bring out. I want to say, what is that? Psalm 73 or Psalm 10? Here we go. The end of the wicked contrasted with that of the righteous. And we're coming into the times very soon where this scripture is not going to apply to them no more, because their ways are being sought out and the Lord is exposing them on a day-to-day basis. In addition to that, they starting to feel that they're going to start to feel more and more the heat that Yahweh Shem Yahushua is bringing upon the wicked. Psalm 73:1 says, truly God is good to Israel, even to such as are of a clean heart. But as for me, my feet were almost gone. My steps had well nigh slipped. Coming into my point. Salaki, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. For there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men, right? They're not held accountable for their actions. So they think that they can continue to go on and get away with these same things that they've been doing for years on top of years on top of years. The Lord is about to nip that in the bud. Therefore, pride compasses them about as a chain, which is why you keep on seeing these people come on the internet and saying, oh, America's won. They've won the war. We're doing tremendous. Iran cannot keep up with our military power. It's okay though. I'm gonna play some clips for y'all, because it's always two sides to a story and two sides to a coin. Right? So you can't pay attention to this Western media. You got to go out and get resources and clips from other places, because if we just sat here like the American folks and listened and looked at it with blinders over our eyes, like racehorses, we wouldn't know what was going on everywhere else. We wouldn't. We would believe that America actually was doing as good as they're saying they are. But even then, the American common folk, the ones who have a little bit of sense, know that all of this talking they doing is bullshit. Verse 6, therefore pride compasses them about as a chain, violence covered them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. And that's just the nature of the wicked. More than they could wish. Recklessly spending money on this war that spent over $11 billion since that wasn't last Saturday, Salaki. We coming up on 2 weeks now. It's been going by so quick. We coming up on 2 weeks now. Then spent $11 billion, I want to say in either the first week or the first 10 days of war. Surpassing Iran. Because we're going to see how. It's okay. I got clips of y'all, man.
Who pose a threat to the homeland. And so President Trump is a leader of the peace through strength foreign policy doctrine. He attempted peace through diplomacy exhaustively and extensively with the rogue Iranian regime. And so they have been struck with the strength and the sheer might and will of the United States Armed Forces. And President Trump has proven he's a man of his word. If you go back and look, not just over the past year as president, but in his first term and in many years in his private life as well, when he has said that the Iranian regime can never obtain
obtain a nuclear bomb. Well, now he's finally acting on it, and he has the courage to do what so many presidents in the past did not.
No, he has the stupidity to do what other presidents in the past did not. Because these other presidents already knew how this was going to unfold, and it wasn't going to be sunshines and rainbows. Who was that other guy who was talking shit? I want to say P. Hegseth. P. Hegseth. America won.
President Trump has drawn a new strategic map from Greenland to the Gulf of America to the Panama Canal and its surrounding countries. At the Department of War, we call this strategic map the Greater North America. Why? Because every...
Hold on, Shalaki.
As the loss of life in war, which wherever it occurs in whatever country, which so many people obviously appreciate. Can you detail the specific measures the Pentagon is taking to minimize civilian casualties and strikes inside Iran? And secondary,
They don't care about that shit. Shalaki, I'm trying to make sure this is the right one. This might be it.
Of America to the Panama Canal and Greater North America. Why? Because every sovereign nation and territory north of the equator, from Greenland to Ecuador and from Alaska to Guyana, is not part of the global south. It is a security perimeter in this great neighborhood that we all live in. Each one of these countries border either the North Atlantic or the North Pacific. Each one of these countries sits north of the two basic geographic barriers that exist in this region, the Amazon and the Andes Mountains. This is basic geography that we don't teach in schools as much as we should. Right. You and our sovereign partners to defend our shared immediate security perimeter. In the south, meaning south of the equator, the other side of this great neighborhood, we will strengthen partnerships through increased burden sharing. This will enable you to take your greater role to defend the South Atlantic and the South Pacific. At the Department of War, we called it the quarter.
This is not what I was looking for, but that's okay. As you can see, I'm just trying to give y'all, to show y'all examples of these people talking, puffing their chest, which I just seen a video now of President Trump. He didn't seem as prideful as he once was before these attacks.
Our policy of never-ending war, regime change, and
The Supreme Leader today said that U.S. attack could spark.
This room. This might be.
Says that the military investigation has found that the United States struck the school in Iran. As Commander,
They just lie, man. All right, for the second time, I'm not gonna continue to search for these. I had a sweet video that was talking about all of this stuff. Nonetheless, though, we're gonna go into the contrast. I want to play this clip by Colonel McGregor, nonetheless, real quick. It's pretty much going into what I was just saying, and hey, this The water Yahweh Bashim Shah. This actually lines up perfectly with what I was about to say. Concerning how judgment goes with the wicked versus the non-wicked. They, like I said, they continue to do wickedness, and they think that the things that they do is not being noticed. Ecclesiastes, the 8th chapter and the 9th verse says, "All this have I seen and applied my heart unto every work that is done under the sun. There is a time wherein one man ruleth over another to his own hurt. And so I saw the wicked buried, who had come and gone from the place of the holy, and they were forgotten in the city where they had so done. This is all vanity. This is also vanity. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil," right? So just because the Lord doesn't execute judgment on people who do wickedness just like that, they think as if they're never going to get punished for the wicked deeds that they've done. Because you have three sets. You have the sons of wickedness, the sons of men, and then sons of righteousness, or the children of Yahweh Bashim Shah. Sons of the men is just the nations. It says, "Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it should be well with them that fear God, which fear before him. But it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not before God." All right, so the Lord, when it comes to judging Israelites versus the heathen nations, it's a little bit different, right? With us, he don't want us to go off like the other nations. So he'll tell us or teach us a lesson, not don't do that shit again. Whereas the wicked, they'll get their judgment in due time. I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip for y'all by General Salakia, Colonel McGregor.
I would say the following. First of all, if you need medication of any kind, you better go out and buy all the medicines you can get, because in a few months they won't be available, because the petroleum industry has a big role to play in the production of pharmaceuticals.
And I'm gonna just tell you this right now. Donald Trump have already came out and said you can go ahead and do the research yourself. He doesn't care about the fact that oil is gonna rise. He doesn't care about that. He cares about attacking Iran. He said that.
So that's my first piece of advice. And secondly, start thinking in terms of storing food and any other items that you think you may need, because as this war continues, and it's going to continue, the impact that I talked about earlier is going to be felt here. There is no evidence that anybody in Tehran is going to pop up on the phone, call President Trump and say, "Oh, we're so sorry, we surrender. We'll do whatever the Israelis want us to do," because that's really what it's all about. Now, we have other interests. We think we're harming China. I don't know what the Chinese will do, but I think the Chinese over the next few weeks, they're going to surprise everybody by what they may be willing to do. I don't know if the Chinese will fly some aircraft into the airspace over Iran and essentially tell us, "Look, we've had enough, stop," or we'll go to war. Maybe the Russians will do something similar. Who knows? There are any number of things that they could do to signal, that's it, we've had it. But in the meantime, I think you just need to prepare for the worst here. And once the stock market figures out, or the investors, the people in New York that run the financial system, who are largely part of the problem for us, they're going to say, "Oh my God," and you're going to watch the stock market tank, and you're going to watch the cost of a barrel of oil go up to 200 and potentially all the way to 3. And all of that is going to bring everything inside the United States to a screeching halt. Now, right now, President Trump is betting, based upon what he's hearing from General Kane and others, that with enough explosives, we can win this thing. And what's the win for us? The win is Iran cries uncle. We're surrendering. You can have what you want. We've taken all that we can. will do what the Israelis say. I just don't see that happening, Dan.
I don't either, Colonel McGregor. I just don't see that happening. I don't either. Let me go ahead and find this real quick, man. Oh, that's what I was just telling my mom that too. You know, the fact that people are talking about, oh, the price of oil is gonna go. I mean, the price of gas is gonna go up. And yeah, that's a big part of it. You know, that's a big part of it. But you got to realize, you know, at one point in time, I was watching the show Landman, so I learned a little bit about watching that show with Billy Bob Thornton. There's petroleum. The whole world runs off petroleum. It's the number one energy source. It's petroleum and everything. Everything. I don't want to say everything, but it's about everything. It's probably a different name in this though. Nonetheless, there's a lot of things that are petroleum based. Let's get Second Ezra, the 6th chapter, the 18th verse. It says, and it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell upon the earth, and I will begin to make inquisition of them, what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled, and when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I shew these tokens. The books shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see all together. And the children of a year old shall speak with their voices. The women with child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. That's my point. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. My point, 22 on down. As the price of goods go up, the price of oil continues to skyrocket. And a simple fact that from this war, the potential of digital currency being brought forth, you're gonna start seeing people. What did they used to call it? Looting? Looting, panic buying, all of that stuff. Storehouses are gonna be empty. They're gonna start snatching stuff off the shelves. It's gonna be a great panic, and then that's gonna lead to civil war. You know, uproars of the people as well, amongst other things. There's gonna be a multitude of things that cause these type of situations and whatnot going on throughout the earth. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation in the end of your world. I'm gonna go ahead. I can go ahead and go to the Abu 7 clip now.
I guess get where you. I guess get where you want to get to before it really starts hitting the fan.
Yeah, I can go and play Dabu 7. I'll show y'all the contrast of, what's actually going on over there in Israel as well.
And Ron Paul fears the dollar is going to be a casualty of the war, of the Iran war. If you were not here for the very beginning of the show, I had a super chat that asked the question if there was going to be a staged event blamed on Iran.
Now, mind you, there's been, what happened today? It was a shooting on Old Dominion campus. That's correct. And it was something that happened in Michigan as well. Old Dominion is in Michigan? Nah. So let's see. It was something that happened in Old Dominion. They said the dude had ties to ISIS. Still running the same playbook once again. And that's what, might as well go ahead. Old Dominion, active terror. Old Dominion University shooting, a deleted one being investigated as T-ism. Gunman was previously convicted for ISIS support. Listen, man. Let's just go ahead and play it. Is there no more wisdom? Has wisdom perished from the... Hold on. Is there no more wisdom in teaming? Jeremiah 49:7. Concerning Edom, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in teaming? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Right? Is their wisdom vanished? Because the decisions that they've made. This message was given concerning Edom. This is what the Lord of Heaven's army says. Is there no more is there no wisdom in teaming? Is no one left to give wise counsel? Because the decisions they've been making and the things they've been doing, man, you would thought they was a little slow in the head. Michigan synagogue shooting updates. Temple Israel says everyone is safe after armed attacker rammed into the facility. FBI. Scott Ritter was just talking shit about the FBI. It ain't shit. FBI attack at Michigan synagogue was a targeted act of violence against the Ish community. Oh, you see how they try to portray it? We're supposed to feel some type of empathy or sorrow for these people. Can you believe that?
And it really, I've been telling you this from, I had a super.
And it's a Jimmy Dore clip as well in here I'm going to play about that. About them trying to do a false flag and saying Iran did it. Your playbook has been revealed, man. Esau is bare.
Chat that asked the question if there was going to be a staged event blamed on Iran. And it really, I've been telling you this from forever, that our government is waiting for an event for just this. So they can install the digital currency to the rescue.
Haven't we been saying this? We've been saying this, though.
Just go download this app and everything that's in your wallet at the bank until we resolve this, you'll have it. You got, $6,700 in there. Well, guess what? Check your wallet. Every bit of it's in there. $6,700 and you could spend every bit of it. It's all right there, is what they're going to say. Easy peasy. And the whole herd's going to do it. This is it. Like, they're showing you right in front of your face. It's going to be Iran to take the blame. Over and over. They just came out this past week, Jamie Dimon and our government, and said they're going to attack the banks. They're bombing banks physically at this point, and just told everyone to stay 1 kilometer away from the freaking banks. They blew a bank up today full of people. Like, out the proof point. Here, they could do that. It's going to cause some scare tactics and everything else, but the bigger move would be to freeze your money. Iran
EMP attack, freeze everything.
would see it as a victory and all this and claim whoever did, China or Iran, whoever, they'd be like, oh, we got them. They're froze. But in all reality, it was all a ploy. This is exactly what our government wanted. How could that ever be? How could an attack from Iran ever work out like that? Because it's a setup. We see this from a 1,000 yards out right now, right here. So if this happens, coming days, weeks, I mean, you've known about this. I've warned about this forever, and now it's clear as day, but you know who the beneficiary is. See, when you are an investigator, you go looking for who benefits from the action. Who benefits from this whole thing? The U.S. government.
Mm-hmm.
You've been played. So when this whole thing goes into motion, you remember, you come back and snip these. I told you before, it's all on record, all these live streams. Us calling this out. We've been calling this out for months and months and months and months. But you will see shills show up last minute trying to claim all the credit for all this because it'll be obvious at that point. And you'll just see this.
So like this woman on Al Jazeera, I don't know what her name is. Let's just go ahead and play the clip, Slocky, y'all.
And blasted in feed all the time. They'll cherry pick everything that we say and we do, as they always do, and they'll get the millions of views. And no, it's not about that. It's not a jealousy thing. It's about fighting the fight thing and being censored all the time thing. While the shills get blasted millions of views every day. If you fight this fight, then yeah, it should piss you off. That the real gets stifled and the shills get promoted.
Hey, man. Like they said, the wicked is meant to succeed in this world. The righteous, not so much.
And if it don't piss you off, then I don't know what side you're on.
And he kind of goes into a little bit more of a rant. I just wanted to bring y'all that, though. The fact that that's a possibility as well. The crash of the dollar coming from this war. Just keep that in mind, man. Because what's that going to lead to? We're already at digital ID stage. We're already there. We're already at the digital ID stage. But what's next? MOTB. The wicked and his pride, those persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. That's Psalm 10 and 2. Let me get I was trying to actually pull out this. What was that? It's not Job 9:24, is it? Nope. Salaki. I'm trying to remember how that scripture goes. This up. Maintain the devices. Job 5:12. It says he disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. Matter of fact, let me get this too. So I shall make. They tongue is falling upon themselves. This is just also adding to the destruction of their wickedness. We can start at verse. This whole chapter is cool, really. Psalm 64 and verse 1. And hear my voice, O God, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. Yet they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? That's the spirit of these people that they have. They think they're going to get away with all of these things. Little do they know. Revelation 18 and 5. The Lord is keeping an account of all the wickedness that they've done throughout their years. It says they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. How can we be more and more wicked? How can we destroy the people more and more? I'm looking at these countries right now looking like wastelands. And you don't think all of that stuff is going to come back on America? Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. But God shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. And all men shall fear and shall declare the work of God, for they shall wisely consider of his doing. Right? That's what the righteous are going to do. They're going to wisely consider, which you already are. Is going to be something that's, hey, this is the Lord doing this. The righteous shall be glad in Yahweh and shall trust in him, and all the upright in heart shall glory. Right? Let me go ahead and see. Yeah, I ain't think so. No, we don't got no comments or nothing like that. Cool. I remember last time the brother was on here, I missed his comments. All right, continuing on. I'm at what? 42 minutes. Go ahead and play these other little clips. I don't want this to be too long. Get it in before an hour, Lord willing. So they already talked about the false flag.
Moral compass. The FBI is the worst. This is FBI crap. This is what happens when you hire the dumbest people in the world and put them in an agency that has no moral compass. The FBI is the worst agency in the United States. It has violated the constitutional rights of every American citizen. They've been told to do this to generate fear, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Y'all can go ahead and watch this whole show for y'all. Pretty much talking about a false flag that they were going to try and put on Iran. I'm going to go ahead and get this, though.
Iran will surrender within several days to several weeks. But Iran's military can sustain at least 6 months of high-intensity conflict and is preparing to deploy advanced long-range missiles, suggesting the war is far from entering a de-escalation phase. All of which suggests... Hello, it's your friend CJ Werleman. And today, we exposed Israeli and American efforts to cover up their respective losses in their failing war against Iran. But first, please remember to like and subscribe to our show, while also turning on notifications so you never miss a single episode. Now let's get into it. No major conflict since the First World War has been subjected to more media censorship than the Zionist Crusader War against Iran. And the reason for this is simple. Israel and the United States are not only taking a savage beating, but also losing control of every domain in which this battle is being fought, which means an expansion of violence and bloodshed across the Middle East, further destruction to the state of Israel.
How Iran war may accelerate the fall of U.S. empire.
Israel, a collapse of the entire global economy, and then ultimately the death of American empire itself. So for you're seeing and reading on Zionist-friendly media outlets, given they are operating under strict orders to not report the devastating impact that Iranian missile and drone strikes are having on Israel, the United States military, and its allies in the Persian Gulf. This truth is being deliberately hidden in plain sight for domestic political purposes, with the Trump administration banning independent journalists from White House and Pentagon press briefings, as the Israeli government threatens its citizens with jail time for posting footage of Iranian missiles slamming into the country, which explains why reports aired from Tel Aviv are heavily censored on CNN and Fox News.
Again, concerning that, let me go ahead and let him play this.
Iran continues to show an offensive capability, launching missiles at central Israel. We have one interceptor over my shoulder right now. We can't show you because we can't show landmarks, Martha, but something that has really changed here.
We're not showing you that because we're not going to show, the Israeli government does not allow us or want us to show where that may have come up, that interceptor. But I'm not.
This is why Trump and Netanyahu were furious when Fox News and other networks let slip that Israel is secretly panicked over dwindling supplies of US manufactured interceptor missiles for its Iron Dome air defense system.
I wonder why. Because that Iron Dome has been getting very overwhelmed with Iranian missiles. In addition to that, my next clip is going to explain all of that as well.
We're seeing more drones penetrate our defenses than I think expected. We should be really honest with ourselves about that. That brings up, frankly, a larger issue that I've been talking about on this network for years. We have our critical installations around the world have been vulnerable. There are people in some of our own government offices who have failed the American people in purchasing failed equipment. That's why we're seeing some of these Shahed drones get through. Even one enemy drone getting through our defenses and striking a U.S. embassy overseas is unacceptable. And Martha, something, a cheap $20,000 Shahed forcing us to burn multi-million-dollar interceptors, starting fires currently at oil facilities and U.S. embassies. That's unsustainable math. Marco Rubio.
As time goes by, and as the Israelis run out of defensive interceptors, interceptors that can knock down these incoming ballistic missiles, the amount of damage that Iran can do to Israel will be very great.
In the very first 4 days of this conflict, Iran destroyed or severely damaged nearly every US military base in the Middle East, which together took more than 70 years and billions of dollars to build and equip.
Sunday morning, an Iranian strike set a makeshift U.S. operations center at the civilian port ablaze. 6 American service members were killed in the attack. You can see smoke rising from the fire. The blown-out 3-wide trailer blackened on the inside. There are few signs of fortification. In another attack, a drone, this appears to be the Arash 2, crashes into U.S. positions in Camp Buring. A building severely damaged. American helicopters parked inside the base were nearly hit. In Bahrain, a Shahed attack drone flies into the base that hosts the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet, one of the largest American naval formations in the world. It looks alarmingly defenseless.
Let me go ahead and get this. Jeremiah, the 49th chapter and the 16th verse. Thy terribleness hath deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill. Though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith Yahweh. The Lord is doing these things to America and Israel, right? And it's only going to continue. He's going to continue to turn that heat up.
The drone hits one satellite communication terminal, clearly seen here. But the scale of the damage is more obvious here, warehouses and other buildings damaged, and another satellite communication terminal destroyed in a separate attack. We see this pattern of targeting throughout the region. At least 5 satellite communication terminals were destroyed.
And as much as they try and hide this information, let me get Luke 12:2. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known.
It points to a possible Iranian effort to cut U.S. bases off from the outside world.
Now that Iran has destroyed and degraded key radars and air missile defense systems, an overwhelming majority of US surveillance, interception, and air defense networks have been disabled in the region, effectively bringing down a security shield built over dozens of years. This radar blindness means Israel's airspace is now open for further waves of powerful Iranian attacks, as illustrated by an on-the-ground report from a Spanish journalist in Tel Aviv, who said Iranian missiles are now striking the city without detection or advanced warning.
Escucharse dos detonaciones, dos bombazos en la zona donde estamos, acaban de caer, en las inmediaciones del lugar donde estamos, dos bombazos, uno en la cercanía del aeropuerto, estamos tratando de averiguar información, estamos...
Why are we at war with Iran?
That's going to be a question that Americans are going to start asking very soon. Why are we at war with Iran? What the fuck do we got to do with this? As that money start being spent more and more, and then you realize, dang, they spending this much money on the war, but it's homeless people walking around. They can't get shelter. We can't even get free health care. But you spending billions of dollars on a war that don't have nothing to do with you?
Decision to follow Israel into this war.
What is left? Why are we at war with Iran?
Great question. Yeah, great question. I mean, the simplest explanation, might be the one that they gave 24 hours in, that they've kind of tried to backtrack since then, which is that Israel made us do it. Kind of tried to backtrack since then, which is that Israel made us do it.
The least of the flock shall draw them out.
Tuesday, Trump, who typically steals and claims exclusive credit for every piece of good news, no matter how minor or
us, and there is no request for the negotiation.
Right now, you're saying Iran does not want a ceasefire.
We are not asking for a ceasefire, and we don't see any reason why we should negotiate with the U.S. When we negotiated with them twice, and every time they attacked us at the middle of negotiations. So there is no request for a ceasefire by us, and there is no request for the negotiation with the U.S. From us. We have never sent any messages to them.
Iran is not only destroying...
You see, though? They saying, oh, they want to talk to us, all this other stuff. Lying. Capping.
Billions of dollars worth of American military bases and equipment throughout the region, but also literally driving the United States out of the Middle East, which was an unthinkable reality just a few weeks ago. Both Trump and Netanyahu wrongly gambled that air power alone would dislodge the Iranian regime, a miscalculation that was summed up perfectly by Professor Robert Pape, who says Israel and the United States have bitten off more than they can chew, a sentiment echoed by former CIA analyst Larry Johnson, who says Trump made the ultimate sin of underestimating Iran's capabilities.
This is according to Iran has begun laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz. This is according to two people familiar with the matter. It's another major complication as the world's top oil exporter warns there could be, quote, catastrophic consequences for oil markets if the conflict keeps disrupting ship and oil tanker traffic through the strait. He says beyond upending shipping and insurance, the ongoing disruption could snowball, threatening aviation, agriculture, and other industries.
This is Trump finding out the hard way why all 7 US presidents that came before him chose against launching a war against Iran since the Iranian Revolution of 1979. His hubris and arrogance is why the United States is now staring down the same barrel of a gun that collapsed the US economy in 2008.
Let's go ahead and rewind that. What did he say?
Revolution of 1979. His hubris and arrogance is why the United States is now staring down the same barrel of a gun that collapsed the US economy in 2008.
Pride covers them about as a chain. For their pride. The Lord gonna destroy these people for the pride that they have. Slack. Proverbs 16 and 18. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. We even went to the book of Obadiah, too. The pride of thine heart have deceived thee. Once again, repeating what I said in Jeremiah the 49th chapter, 16th verse.
When a spike in oil prices sent the cost of living and household debt rocketing upwards.
When oil hit about $122, $123 a barrel in early 2008, we had food riots, you recall, in 22 countries. When oil hit $147 a barrel in July of 2008, all the prices across the supply chain for everything we buy went through the roof. And in that month, July 2008, purchasing power shut down all over the world.
It seems that everything is costing more.
Food costs expected to rise 4% this year. Just 60 days after oil hit $147 a barrel. For the first time in history, the stock market fell a record 777 points in a single day.
They've been talking about this for at least over a year. This next recession is going to make the recession in 2008 look like a picnic. We've been saying this, though. That's why when these things come to pass, it's not going to be a surprise to us. It's not going to be a surprise to us.
The worst day on Wall Street. The market fell as if down a well.
We're down over 16%.
Because we're now down 43%.
That's how the Dow Jones looked when I was just looking at it on Al Jazeera. Down hundreds of points.
The Dow traders are standing there watching in amazement, and I don't blame them.
And that was the economic earthquake. The collapse of the financial markets 60 days later, that was the aftershock.
Trump promised a swift victory, telling reporters Iran will surrender within several days to several weeks. But Iran's military can sustain at least 6 months of high-intensity conflict and is preparing to deploy advanced long-range missiles, suggesting the war is far from entering a de-escalation phase. All of which suggests the United States has found itself in yet another disastrous quagmire, akin to the defeats it suffered in Vietnam, Afghanistan.
Here we go. We are dealing heavy blows to the IRGC and its Ba'ath forces. The IRGC is the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps.
And Iraq.
We have carried out attacks with unprecedented force in partnership with the U.S. I'm telling y'all, man, if this nigga was as confident as they seem, he would not be in the air. He would not be in the air, bro. He would not be traveling from country to country, to city on the run, like a damn wanted person.
As the saying goes, history doesn't always repeat, but it certainly rhymes.
Regimes like this that have their power base in fear and intimidation.
This is before I was born, March 3rd, 2003.
Tend to topple fairly quickly.
I'm confident that our troops will be successful, and I think it'll go relatively quickly.
Also, another thing, around this time is wartime for these Edomites.
It could last,
That's why you keep on seeing these clips that's coming from around the same time. That's why I did a lesson in March talking about how the United States and Iran was going to go to war with each other.
6 days, 6 weeks. I doubt 6 months.
You can say 4 weeks, but it could be 6, it could be 8, it could be 3.
We expect to last about 4 to 6 weeks.
Right from the beginning, we projected 4 to 5 weeks, but we have capability to go far longer than that.
All they do is repeat themselves and say the same shit.
Ghosts of the disastrous Iraq War now have congressional members of the U.S. Senate Committee on Armed Forces completely spooked.
I emerged from this briefing as dissatisfied and angry, frankly, as I have from any sentence about the thing.
It knows that in a nation resilient feet, who will come under increasing pressure to eventually retreat and accept defeat. Compounding Israeli and American woes is the fact that Iran has unlimited options to escalate its response, from involving the Houthi militias to, throughout Europe, option more uniting muscle. Pressure huge lobbies. Demonetization / CJ Will.
I must have passed the part where it's talking about the fact they spending a whole bunch of money on this war.
By the US intelligence community when it released a report saying Trump's plan for Iran is doomed to fail. A staggering assessment that means the Zionist Crusader war against Iran has no achievable objective, which means every missile fired from this point forward is a total waste of human life and money, notwithstanding the fact that this war cost American taxpayers $5 billion in the first 96 hours alone.
$11 billion in 6 days. Where's the money coming from? Where is it going? The United States is in hundreds of trillions of dollars in debt.
Money that could have been spent fixing the country's broken healthcare and education systems.
Here we are, well into the second week, and it is still the case that the Trump administration cannot explain the reasons that we entered this war, the goals we're trying to accomplish, and the methods for doing that.
I can tell you why. Psalm the 58th chapter. The mouth was smoother than butter, but war was in their heart. Roughly paraphrased.
The part that seems clear is that while there is no money for 15 million Americans who lost their health care, there's $1 billion a day to spend on bombing Iran.
Okay. That's all I want y'all to see, man. That's all I want y'all to see. Just know, I'll continue to say this. The United States government does not care about its people. They don't. That's why the scriptures say when the wicked are in rulership, the people mourn. When the righteous are in rulership, the people rejoice. These people don't care about y'all. They don't. They don't care. It's going to be, I have one last clip that I'm going to play. And it comes from the Jimmy Dore Show. And it's going to show y'all a little bit of a financial breakdown as to why it's costing the United States
their military or something, Jimmy?
This war.
The way you see an idea in your mind and shape it into something that could only come from you. This is how we're
trying to stop them from bombing Israel. Here's how they did beat it. Iran has decided to, I got a couple of videos I'm going to show you about how Iran has decided to overwhelm our billions and billions and billions of dollars we'd put into anti-missile technology. So the whole idea, the Iron Dome that we've been billions of dollars around Israel, it's supposed to be able to, so you can't shoot a missile into Israel because they have anti-missile missiles that will shoot down your missile or your rocket or your bomb. But they actually did beat it and they went low tech. Here's how Iran beat our billions and billions of dollars trying to stop them from bombing Israel. Here's how they did it.
How did Iran actually bypass the Iron Dome using wooden stealth drones? The advanced defense system is perfectly tuned to track fast, heavy metal rockets. Powerful radars easily spot steel casings and highly reflective electronic parts. To bypass this shield, engineers completely abandoned modern military materials. They built a new swarm of kamikaze drones almost entirely out of balsa wood. Wood and thin fiberglass absorb radar waves instead of bouncing them back. Instead of hot engines, they use tiny electric motors with zero heat signature. The drones were programmed to fly at extreme low altitudes, hugging the terrain. The dome's smart sensors simply filtered them out as flocks of birds or static noise. The AI didn't trigger interceptors until the wooden swarm was already diving in. In 2026, the world's smartest shield was pierced by the most primitive technology. How did Iran actually bypass?
So that's
Once again, is there no more wisdom in teaming?
how they did it.
You think jokes?
Yeah. So just to summarize where we're at, Iran can beat Israel's missile defense systems with paper airplanes, basically.
That's what balsa wood is. It's one notch, and I don't even give it that much above a paper airplane.
So you're saying that we could launch all the social media influencers who support.
Right, and I'm not going to play the whole video for the second time. Y'all can go ahead and watch that for yourself. It goes in and does a pretty good deep dive into the technology they used. It's just giving y'all a little bit of a heads up and an update in the news, man. An update in the news. So let me go ahead and get one more precept just for the concerning the times we're about to come into, these perilous and harsh times. Second Ezra, the second chapter and the 27th verse. This is how a lot of people are going to react to the things that's going on very soon. Make sure this is. As for the servants, verse 26, as for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall not one of them perish, for I will require them from among thy number. Now here's my point, verse 27. It says, be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. Why are they going to be weeping and sorrowful? Because it's the end of the wicked kingdom. It is the end of the wicked kingdom. This fashion of this world that these people, these Christians, these Americans, these common folk, normal people are so in love with is dying. That's what it is. The heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, saith the Lord. Why? My hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell. Be joyful, O thou mother, with thy children, for I will deliver thee, saith the Lord. I just realized I was not showing none of that. Nonetheless, though, I was in the book of 2nd Ezra, the second chapter, starting at the 26th verse and reading on into the 30th verse. I realized I wasn't showing none of that. Salaki. Nonetheless, though, Lord willing, the lesson was edifying and those out there listening and watching. I'm going to close it off there by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahaha Kodash. Double blessing and honor to the apostles and the elder bishops at Great Millstone once again, who taught me this truth through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And until next time, I say Shalom, Israel, Shalom. And as always, we're one day close to the kingdom, man. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Shalom, Israel. And just a heads up, the Sabbath, the new moon Sabbath, will start next Wednesday, March 18th. Wednesday sundown and Thursday sundown. And in addition to that, the Passover will be held April 1st, followed by the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So with that, I say Shalom.